The ego is often an insatiable thing that can truly destroy an individual's life. This is exemplified with the struggles of Miyamoto Musashi and many other characters within Takehiko Inoue's Vagabond. When Musashi begins his violent life, he fervently clings to his arrogant demeanor. However, as he encounters swordsmen that are far more skilled to himself, it reveals how hollow and fragile that arrogance is. This culminates in a life-changing conversation with the Yagyu, who tells him that the invincibility that he's seeking is empty. It's at this point Musashi begins to realize that he was chasing nothing more than a worldly illusion. Many of us, like Musashi, feel the need to prove our value to others, but in actuality, this often stems from deep-seated insecurity or bad childhoods. In Musashi's case, he grew up in a village that rejected and shunned him, so it's only natural that he would feel the need to be better than others. However, this desire to prove oneself to others is a massive source of pain and anxiety for Musashi. He has essentially separated himself from the entirety of the world to blindly strive towards a goal that is meaningless and egocentric. The thing that makes Musashi special in Vagabond is he's one of the only few characters that's capable of realizing where true strength it derives from. His father, for as renowned as he was, felt much more anguish trying to be invincible. Just as the same as Musashi, his ego trapped him inside a very lonely world that pushed out any other person in it. This is also prevalent with many warriors like Toji Gion, who act in some way as a mirror to Musashi's character early on. He's a warrior chasing the same thing as Musashi and even feels inferior to his fellow Yoshioka members, but his refusal to move past that way of life results in him becoming broken and later killed. Of course, we can't forget the best character, Matahachi, and his trappings of his own ego. Matahachi is meant to represent the more human and flawed character that we're supposed to relate to. Everybody wants to be like Musashi, but in reality most of those people probably share way more in common with Matahachi. It's that desire to want to be like someone else, to obtain that kind of power and status that causes Matahachi to end up going down a deceitful path. Instead of embracing his weaknesses and accepting himself for who he is, he chases all the wrong things in life, which results in the people closest to him fading away. Despite him being treated as a joke character, it's a tragic tale about the consequences of chasing those egotistical desires. I would say he's actually one of the strongest characters in Vagabond because of all the humiliation and pain he has to endure, but he still keeps getting back up. He may not be good with sword fighting at the moment, but he ignores all that strength just because he hasn't achieved what Musashi has. The only feasible way to escape the trap of external validation is to look inward and strive to build humility and compassion. Going back to Musashi, he often grapples with the feelings of hate and ego early on, and it's made a note of the fact that this hinders his growth. If you look at a character like Sasaki Kojiro, he's like the exact opposite of Musashi. He views swordplay as something for fun and treats it in a childish way, but that allows him to fight with any hatred or ego. He's probably not even aware of a lot of the reasons and motivations that cause people to fight. In that sense, he's like a pure warrior that allows him to tap into his full potential, unlike Musashi early on. Denshishiro also falls into that trap of hatred for Musashi that restricts him from improving. It's not that he's necessarily wrong for disliking Musashi, but that type of hatred he carries only serves to make him a weaker swordsman. After Musashi is forced to retreat from the Yoshioka in the beginning, he has a similar ego-destroying moment like Denshishiro when facing Inshin. This is where he is forced to acknowledge his own arrogance and that he's actually a very small and fragile person. It's such a potent moment because of how relatable it is. Sometimes you build a set of skills and think you might be good at it, but there's always a bigger fish. There's always going to be someone like Inshin around the corner who's just naturally great at what they do. But instead of letting bitterness consume him, Musashi overcomes this and managed to be one of the best manga protagonists in history. Like many characters in Vagabond, we fall prey to chasing titles and torturing ourselves with the illusion of being the best. We're told that only when we achieve that we'll finally be happy. But sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. We never ask ourselves if blindly striving towards a goal will give us what we actually desire or the consequences we may face.